Welcome. Hi, Jan. I'm Amanda.
Hi. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
We didn't get to say hi, Jan, but we were in a meeting just.
Yeah, we were just. We're gonna stop meeting like this. We're popping up on all of these things.
This morning.
Yeah. Already from 8 to 9, and then I've got a client from 10:45. So it's like I want to roll.
Back to back. Hi, Marie. Hi, I'm Amanda. How are you?
I'm good. How are you this morning?
Good, good.
I did those earrings.
Thank you. A friend of mine made them. I had to show them off. There's a lot of people making these nowadays, and I'm like all for it. There's a young lady in Denton, a diva girl, Ellie. Do you know her?
Not at all.
She has a radio station at Discover Denton, and she's making them now too, but hers are like massive.
They're really, really big.
Oh, I need that.
Hi, Jamie. That is my sorority sister coming all the way from New York City. So thanks for coming in, Jamie. So I'm curious, tell me, I haven't seen you, Jan, or Marie yet, so I'd love to do like a little bit of introductions and meet you all. And I see there's people, oh, Jamie's on the chat. Hi, Jamie, good morning.
That's nice. Marie's actually one of our Stoke members.
Oh, great.
Yeah. Glad to see you.
You want to go first?
Sure. I write, I work as a freelancer in publishing, and we write indexes for books. So for instance, if you have a cookbook that has an index at the back of it, somebody like me probably wrote it, and they send us these books at the tail end of the production process, and we read the book and analyze it and write the index, and they stick it in right before they actually print it and send it to Barnes & Noble. So that's how we fit into the publishing process. I'm also a photographer, so we stay very busy.
Yes, and I'm sure those go really nicely hand in hand, because then you could do the headshots of the author and put it right in there with the index.
I would love to. Actually, my photography, I'm just really starting that, and actually headshots is my shtick. So, I would love to do other headshots.
Staff.
Oh, you did the Stoke staff? Oh, great. Oh, that's so cool. So cool. Awesome. Jan?
Well, I'm a librarian, which has a great role in there with that's one of the things that librarians tend to do is create indexes, normally for books when they're published, but a lot of my librarian friends do actually work in indexing as well, which is kind of interesting. It's one of those things I'd never even heard of until I went to the library world. It never crossed my mind that somebody was actually writing that index, no matter how good they are. So what I do is I work with charter schools. I provide library assistance when they're too small to afford a full-time librarian. But I attended this really cool thing, or read this really cool book this week, and had lots of exercise, and it said you should never introduce yourself by your job title. You should introduce yourself by your benefit to society. So I'm still coming up with things, but my first one was I teach readers how to walk in other people's shoes.
Ooh, I like that. I like that a lot.
It's a little bit more interesting when you're networking. It's like people tend to look at you as a librarian and think, oh, I know what she does. Yeah.
Right. Like, no, okay, check,
really
I got it.
They really don't know what a librarian does.
Right. You're right. Oh, it looks like Ben Sweet. That's my dad. My dad is coming on. Oh, everybody gets to meet my dad. We're like very all over the place. We got Denton. Jamie's in New York. My dad's in Metro Detroit, Michigan. So we got a nice little mix here. But Donna, do you want to go next? Do you want to introduce yourselves to everybody?
Sure. Well, taking Jan's thing is I give my bilingual clients an advantage in the global market by increasing their ability to communicate clearly.
Oh, that's really good. Did you already have that one thought up?
Actually, I have my little bio thing here. I've been working with people about their elevator speech. So teach, I'm the owner of Clear English Coach. I actually work with international professionals to improve their speaking, their verbal communication skills.
Awesome. And Donna's a huge, we talked last week and we talked at the previous coffee convos, and she's just been cheering me on this whole time since we met. So like, I
can't wait to hear what the results are.
Great. Hi, Dad. How are you? This is Ben. Dad, you're, I'll call you Ben for the meeting. Ben, you're on mute.
Got to check that one off on the virtual meeting bingo card.
Yeah, exactly. You're on mute. You want to introduce yourselves to everybody?
Yeah, my name is Ben Sweet. I'm Amanda's dad. I'm recently a training engineer at the MathWorks. I have over 30 years of experience in automotive real-time embedded software, and an adjunct university instructor for 25 years. Now I'm a training engineer at MathWorks, and hopefully love doing that for a while.
It's nice to meet you. I'm Madi. I'm the Stoke representative on the call. So good to have you.
Good to see you.
Madi's the one that plans
Just
all of
asking
this.
you to host these.
Yeah, plans all of this, executes all the hard work with the Stoke team, so we appreciate you. Jamie, I don't know if you're willing to go off mute or on camera, but do you want to introduce yourself? Maybe? Or maybe in the chat?
All right, so I'm at work, guys. So by day, I work a regular job, 9 to 5, at an insurance agency, and then by night, I work on a business as well that focuses on just mentoring and building an online e-commerce business as well. The mentoring program is mostly for like personal development, finances, and obviously business development. So that's what I do, guys. Thanks for having me.
Nice to meet you.
Welcome.
We'll try not to bug you too much. Well, thanks everybody for coming. My name's Amanda Sweet. Oh, well, I'll take your advice. I help people make their dreams come through positive events and interaction and just making things happen. I am the creative fairy godmother. I started calling myself that last year because I couldn't figure out what it is exactly that I do, because I do so many different things. But for my day job, I'm a corporate event planner for a publication based out of Michigan. So we're a business to business publication, and I host all of the galas, the conferences, the education. I'm building the diversity, equity, and inclusion program. Originally, it was just one awards show, but I've definitely grown it into a week-long conference, and I'm kind of swimming in that world a lot. And then by afternoon, I don't want to say by night because afternoon, I founded a organization in Denton called the ReVamp, and it is a quarterly clothing swap / multimedia brand. So we have bloggers, we have photographers, we have models, brand ambassadors, and we all focus around our activities around eco-friendly fashion and creating a platform for local artists to express themselves in a different environment than they normally would. So that's been a lot of fun. And so I'm moving to Michigan in about a month back home. My family is very happy. So it's going to be exciting to kind of transition that organization from being Denton based to being virtually based now since COVID has hit, to being multi-state. So that's kind of where our heads are at. And then on top of that, I host a weekly interview show called Mentor Me on my social media pages, where I interview people. I just interviewed Jamie a couple weeks ago. Donna's on the docket for in a couple more weeks. And we just talk about what we do, and we give our advice to each other and the audience. So I've been having fun just trying things, failing at things, winning at things. So that's kind of where we're at. I'm a pusher and a doer. So I'm open to hearing like what concerns or troubles you guys are having. What walls are you facing? I know Donna, the last time, her and I spoke a lot about different technology that's out there. She's had a lot of questions about, what other resources we could use. So we can kind of talk about those things, or we can just kind of chit chat about whatever's fueling you or not fueling you, or all of the things.
After the last talk I wrote down a note that if we don't do it today, that this would be an idea for a topic of outsourcing, how to get VAs, interns, that kind of thing, because of digitizing our businesses. Yes. How do we outsource and find good ways of doing that?
Yes. So
we're not responsible for everything all the time.
Yes. I'm a huge proponent of outsourcing. I struggled with delegating a lot, but once I figured out how to use people and not misuse people, it became a lot easier. So with the ReVamp, I started it on my own. I was, I just moved to Denton. I didn't know anybody, but I just put myself out there. I said, I'm doing an event. It's a clothing swap. Nobody knew what a clothing swap was, but 5 people showed up. And of those 5 people, one of the young women was in marketing. And we started talking. We hit it off, and I said, what do you want to build? My question to her was, what do you want to do? What do you need? What experience are you looking for to start your own business? Because she was working for an agency, and she had dreams of creating her own marketing agency, but she didn't have the clientele or the experience. So I said, what do you need from me? What can I provide you that will get you to your next step? And she said, I've never built a brand from the bottom up. And I said, I have a brand that needs to be built from the bottom up. So I gave her the opportunity that she was looking for, not the opportunity that I needed filled. So when you're networking, at least for me, sometimes it's a little bit easier because I kind of play in the crowd of like 20-something-year-olds. I'm hanging around a lot of people that are in college or getting out of college. So for me, it's easy for me to say, what are your dreams? What are your goals? How can you fill these roles in this organization so we can help you make your dream come true and also create this opportunity for the community? So I'm kind of doing it a twofold. For people that are a little bit older, it's definitely focused more on trade. For people that are in the business, that are kind of already in their career paths, sometimes it's easier to say, like, what are the trade opportunities? How can I help you? I always start with that. How can I help you? How can I build something for you? Let's see, Jamie says, helping people with their hot buttons. Honestly, like, I learned the hard way when I was recruiting volunteers for other projects before I started the ReVamp in Detroit. I was trying to stuff them in to a role. I'm like, I need you to be my admin. I need you to be my admin person because I need an admin person, but they were just not admin people. And so me trying to shove them into that role made us both hate the experience. It was awful for the both of us because they weren't good at it. And they hated it, and I was hating the work, and I was hating their attitude. So it was like a hate situation. Like, it didn't work. So I always start with, what do you need? How do you want to level up your career? Where do you see yourself fitting in? And usually we don't, once we get to that part of the conversation, I'm usually like, at least for the nonprofit side, I'm like, I don't have any money. We're not an official nonprofit. We're just a collective of people that do things together. But you're selling the opportunity. You're not selling the fact that you don't have any money. I think that's the part that people get lost. They're like, I don't have any money. And they start with that. I don't have any money. I learned a really great lesson selling my car over the weekend. We sold it in 48 hours. But we learned a lot from we had 3 people come on the first day. And my husband was like, there's rust on the bottom. The brakes make noise. When you reverse, it jiggles a little bit. You got to do this. And the guy was like, I don't want it, right? And I was like, well, we led with all of the things that we don't have or all of the things that don't work. And that's why he didn't buy it. So the next guy came and he was like, it's a great car. It's got a new battery. The engine is strong, but there's rust on the bottom. The brakes make noise and it rattles when you go in reverse. And I was like, after that, I was like, just stop talking. We already put all of the things that we don't have in the description and they showed up anyway, right? So the volunteers that come to these events, they already know that it's just like a couple of people. Or if you're a one-woman entrepreneur, they know that you don't have a huge team or, you're kind of in a different position than you would if you're a big, huge corporate organization. When you apply for a job, they're not like, we have awful company culture. We are, we have this, we have that, and this all, our paid time off sucks. And they're not telling you all of the things that are wrong with the organization. They're selling you on the organization. By the last person, that we actually sold the car to, we led with, the engine's great, The battery's new, the tires are new, we just changed the oil, and then we just shut up. And we just shut up. And we were like, take a look at it, see if it's what you want. Is this how you see yourself driving away today? And we just let it be. We took a test drive. We changed the topic completely. We started talking about their lifestyle. What are they into? What do they enjoy? And she's like, I'm a mechanic. I can hear all the problems. Like, I can fix this within like $300, you know? So she's telling me what the problems are and how she's going to fix them. And then they left with the car at just below the asking price, but we broke even. But, you know, that's awesome. But we learned that you don't want to lead from lack. You want to lead from, this is what we have to offer, and we're willing to grow and change and make things work. I think, Marie, for you, when I was first starting out in photography, I've been doing photography for, I want to say 7 years now. And I just recently started charging. Obviously, I wouldn't advise that. I was a lot younger, and I was using a camera from my school, and everything was free. So I was just trying to get stuff under my belt. But that was a lot of the way that I was doing it. I was saying, hey, I love your social media page. I love your presence. I really enjoy your energy. Let's do a trade headshot. I'll do a headshot of you. You tell me what you like, what you don't like. And if you really enjoyed it, tell your friends and tell them I made you pay. That's usually what I tell. I tell them I made you pay, but for between us, I'll take care of you, you know? And I started building those relationships, and they always come back. They started bringing their families, you know, as they age, their families grow. And so they're needing, you know, family portraits, and they're needing Christmas photos, and they're needing senior photos. So it's like building that reputation, and building those relationships, but from a place of like, I want to grow with you. I want to grow. I want to build this project with you. I don't have it all together. I think that sometimes I get lost in that. I don't have it all together, you know, but we don't want to lead with that, you know? So from building a community and building employees and building volunteers, it's how can my platform make a platform for you to be great? And that was a hard lesson to learn, because I was not doing that for a long time. I was like, you need to help me make my dream come true, but that's not what it's not what it's about, because we are always the side character in people's lives. So that's kind of where that comes from.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're the central person in your life, for sure.
Exactly. Like for me,
everyone else,
yeah,
character.
It's hard to get over that, you know, because you're like, this is my project or my baby, or this is something that I thought of, and this is my idea. But the only way you can grow is to say, like, what can you do with it? What can you do with it? And how can you make it your idea? And Mariah, my marketing person, she's ran with it. You know, she built the website, she built up the social media platform. You know, she's got her vision for how she wants the photo shoots to go and the branding to go. And I just let her run with it, because that's her expertise and that's what she's good at. And this is helping her, and it's also helping me. And that's one less thing I have to do and worry about, because I know she's going to do a great job because she's passionate about it and she's in the right place, you know? Mm-hmm. Jan says, Let the Story Do the Work by Esther Choi. Tell us about that.
Okay. So it's a book about digital storytelling, but her concept is that if you go in with numbers and say, you know, like 70% of your kids will do better if you have a librarian on campus, people are not excited about that. Mm-hmm. And she has a really good process to work through. And that was where I got the idea to introduce myself, not as a librarian, but her process is to find a hook. I think she calls it IRS, something intriguing, something that resonates, and something that solves or resolves the problem. So you got to start with a hook. So my hook for the exercises that I did was, when I was 15, I was kind of conned into being on the debate team. And our first real major competition, we were told we were going to be discussing smoking. I hated smoking. And we had to argue for, not against. So it was really hard. So that would be my hook. It's like, you want to know, well, what happened? Did you win? And we didn't win, but I ended up learning how to look at something from multiple different perspectives. And that stayed with me throughout my life. So here I am, a librarian. Now I teach other kids to look at different perspectives. So just the telling the story, if when you start talking to people. So we went out with friends last night for dinner, and I started telling them. Our friend who we've known for 2 years was just like, wow, I didn't know that about you. I didn't even know what you did. So it does work, but it took a while. It took almost 4 days while reading the book and taking notes to develop it. But the good thing about the book is it's completely free on Amazon if you have Prime. It's on, I don't know if you all know this, but under Prime, you also have a Prime library that's free. And if you didn't know that, you need to tap into it.
Yeah.
You have to access them on your Kindle, but if it says Prime Reading, you can just download it completely free of charge. So that book is free of charge.
Nice.
You can go to her website, but her website's a reiteration of everything's in the book. You might as well just get, if you don't have the money to buy the book and you don't have Prime, go to the website. But then you're going through lots of little links to get to the same information. But it was just really, it was good, not just advice on the fact that you should use digital storytelling, because I think we've all heard that, but the exercises on how to do it, and really walk away with, it made me walk away thinking, I could be part of that funnel. I really want to take her in-depth class. So from that aspect of marketing, it was really good. It was well worth doing. She doesn't have her prices on her website, which tells me, my dad always used to say, if you have to ask, you probably can't afford it.
Yeah. But maybe not. She might have a scale. That might be why.
It looks like it looks like she does a lot of corporate coaching to like really big corporate groups. I'm quite sure she doesn't do the one-on-one.
If she's as great as you say she is, she probably has a lot of freebies available on her social media. So I'm taking a women's cohort. It's like a business boot camp course. Mm-hmm. And one of the suggestions that she made was offer freebies to build your email list.
Right.
So her Instagram is filled with business freebies. So like all of her highlights on her Instagram, her email marketing list is like, you get a freebie today. And every week she's got a freebie because she's building her list. So people click, put their email, and then they get the freebie, they see her value, and then they come back for more. Or she can go back and find them with the email list that she's built through all these free products and services, which I think Stoke does a really good job of that too.
Yeah, an event like this is a great example of just kind of sucking people in.
Yeah, it's like, it's like the free, quick and easy, simple for you to do, not a lot of legwork.
Yeah,
but
as a consumer, I definitely prefer that, especially with the kind of thing that Jan's talking about, because then you can get a feel for how this person teaches, because sometimes like for instance, I'm starting to do some video editing and I'm learning how to do it. And I downloaded some software yesterday and it was free, but I don't think it's the software for me. So now I have to go find another one. And I wish that there were some more.
I can help you if you ever want to talk
about it. I will email you.
Yeah.
I
went to school for it.
In the editing, it's taken me a while to learn how to edit my own videos, but it is possible. But sometimes the cheap and the free software, it just doesn't give you.
Yeah.
Camtasia, I think about $250. I've used it for almost 8 years, and
I'm looking at all the free trials.
Right.
What are you using right now?
Stock.
So I think I might end up doing Camtasia. Right now I have DaVinci Resolve, and that's already like my third one.
I have a Mac.
Are you opposed?
I use iMovie. So
iMovie is so easy.
Yeah.
iMovie's like,
I need to put titles on the screen.
You can do that with iMovie.
You can?
You can do that with iMovie.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, iMovie.
I haven't done any of this since.
Do you have an iPhone?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Play with it. You'll see how easy it is. You can put music. Yes, it is. You can add music. You can add subtitles. You can add titles. You can add like lower thirds and upper thirds. Like you can do all kinds of transitions. Like it's super easy. But I use iMovie and then Adobe Suite. Final Cut Pro is like
awesome, but expensive.
It's expensive, but if you have the Adobe Suite, but I don't know. I use Final Cut and I use iMovie because it's on my phone. So I'm just like,
okay.
Yeah.
Final Cut is worth the money. I mean, even if you pay for Creative Suites, and I'm sort of cheating with that because I signed up for web design class just for my personal, and I get to use Adobe Suite with the student price.
Oh, nice.
Which is $20 a month, I think, instead of $6. It's a significant chunk off. So I figured by not purchasing the full price, I put what I'm saving towards extra classes.
I like it.
Plus, learning about web design is, I teach web design, but just with the kids with Weebly and Wix, nothing major coding or anything, but it does help to have that background. InDesign's always also really good if you've ever used that. InDesign is print graphics. So
I want to say Canva's starting to do video things. What do you need the videos for? Is it for
I'm
commercials?
about to give myself away.
Give yourself away.
So, and I was going to talk to you guys about this anyway, in case anyone's interested in kind of checking out some of the events, but not this week, but next week. So November 16th through the 20th is Global Entrepreneurship Week, and Stoke is doing kind of daily celebrations of that. And on Friday, so normally we would do a startup crawl, but in person where, you know, we walk around the square and introduce whoever's on the crawl with us to the different startups downtown and learn about them and everything. But obviously we can't do that. So we filmed it. And so I'm putting together a virtual startup crawl.
That's cool.
And yeah, it'll be about 15, 20 minutes. So.
I already tried to RSVP to attend, and it says more coming. So I saw your.
So that one will be Facebook Live. So there won't really be like an Eventbrite for that, but we'll be sending out emails for sure.
I have a couple of suggestions for new apps for you, Mari. So I started using StreamYard. I was raving to Donna about StreamYard, but I started using StreamYard for my weekly show. It streams live to your YouTube and Facebook. You have to apply to do it for LinkedIn, but I exported my recording and I just edited it down, and then I put it on my LinkedIn. I put it on my Instagram. It was super easy, very easy to do your branding. Like, nice. It was, I would look into it. And then my husband, Labrie, he got reached out to by all of the local bars are doing like a beer festival. And so they're asking all of the DJs to upload their videos to this platform called Lemonade. I want to say it's .stream. I'm talking to the co-owner tomorrow, but they do digital festivals. So I think they take a cut of the tickets, the ticket price, I believe. I'll have to give more information, but basically they host your festival. They do all the streaming work. You can have like a digital vendor area. So you pay for your ticket, and then you can tip artists. You can tip like speakers and musicians, and then you can shop at the vendors that are available like in your lemonade stand, basically. And then they get a cut, and then they host the platform. But then I'm excited to see what else I learn. After our conversation, I'll give him your information and he can kind of give you the pitch. It sounds like they're newer, but the Bearded Monk has used them before. For those of you that don't know, the Bearded Monk, that's a local bar, and they're always doing like social media things. So they're very hip with it. But I think you guys might like Lemonade.
Yeah, and I'm always on the hunt for new ways to do digital.
And it doesn't cost up front, which is nice. They take a cut, but you know.
That is nice. Yeah.
You know, you could probably get more tickets with a bigger platform and more vendors. Yeah. So that's another thing. Like if you're hosting something big like that, like the more people you have, the more people you give the platform to sell their products, the more people that will attend. So you have, let's say all of you were vendors at my festival. Then you would tell all of your friends, I'm doing this festival. You should come check it out. And that's all of your 10 friends. And it just kind of expands from there. So that's the nice thing about having, that's what we really hurt. Like when we lost our vendors, we lost that opportunity from my corporate job. We were like, how are we going to create that vendor experience where you tell your friends and you tell your friends. My corporate job, they haven't fully figured that side out yet, but on the back end, I'm working on it. So I think Lemonade's going to be pretty cool.
And then iMovie and Final Cut for
iMovies. I mean, do you have a Mac?
Mm-hmm.
Use iMovie. It's already there. It's so easy. It's the easiest platform that I've ever used. It's just cut paste. You
can add titles, transitions, and backgrounds, and picture in a picture. You can put your logo in, and I've learned how to do that with iMovie, and it's picture in the picture.
Nice. If you need help layering, just text me.
Okay. I feel so much more assured. This is my big job today.
It's already on there.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, why make it more complicated? I had somebody else that wanted Final Cut, and I don't know what Final Cut can do that I can't do already. I'm trying to keep it simple. I'm not trying to spend hours. I'm not a videographer, so I just
That's what Final Cut is for. It's for millions of layers. You could do a bunch of layers. It's the transitions, it's the graphics, and you know, it's for people who do videography and editing. I feel like even I don't have a lot of experience, but even I mean, I can use it with the knowledge that I have, but I'm just like, I can do this on iMovie.
You have to really be in depth to do it. I mean, there's a lot of things. Same as Photoshop. You can do a lot of things with the simpler. Photoshop itself is almost a degree.
Yeah.
I mean, you could spend 4 years studying how to get all of that done, but you yet get the still get the same, you know, using
same quality. Yeah, exactly. I was using so for most of my photography career, one, I wasn't editing anything, and then once I started editing, I was editing on the photo viewer for the photo. So like there's like a, you know, when you pull up the image on not a Mac, you have like edit, and then it's just got the simple, like, you know, shadow, contrast, light, exposure. And I was editing like that forever. Somebody told me to get Lightroom, and I was really apprehensive. I was like,
that's what my son uses.
But now I use Lightroom, and it makes my process way faster, but it's not any better than the simple photo editor. It's just more streamlined, but it does cost money. Let's see. So Jamie said,
reminded me, because I got Lightroom when I could pay for it, you know, for the whole thing and not have a monthly thing. And it's on another Mac and it's on a different hard drive. And now I've forgotten how to do it, and I put all my photos on it. So it's like, oh my gosh, I got to start all over.
I think you can just log in from any computer as long as you have your credentials. It should transfer the new Lightroom should transfer all of your files, like your entire profile, to whatever computer you're using. It should.
That might be good. Okay, well, I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, try and log in from your current computer and see if it works. I got a new laptop like a couple months ago, and that's what I was scared of. So I was doing all my editing on my old computer and all my new work on my new computer. And then I logged in and I was like, oh, it's all here.
But
okay.
When you had the program and you bought the actual, you know, CD and put it in your computer, this was not the monthly Lightroom thing.
But did you have to, when you bought it, was there any like creating a profile or like a registration, like with your email? No.
Well, you had to, I think, at least give your ID or whatever to, you know, initial it or to whatever.
I wonder if you could call them.
That's what I was just thinking. Because if you bought it at some point, you know.
Just be like, I had a profile back in the day.
And trying to have CD.
I had a CD. That's enough. That's all you got to say. I had a CD, and they're like, okay, well.
If nothing else, they might discount.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That happened with me. I was using Photo Story or Storyline, and back in the day when I was doing it creating lessons all the time, and I bought the program, and now they've gone over to a virtual, you pay for it annually, and you pay almost as much annually as you did for the actual program. So I could make it last 3 or 4 years, but now you got to update it all the time. So when I called, I said, look, I had the last version, I purchased it, you've gone virtual, what do I do? And they said, well, we can discount as if you're just upgrading, but that was it. I still had to pay for the newer version.
That's good.
Doesn't hurt to ask. Like,
right. Yeah, I mean, I still got a pretty good price. You know, my version, I think, was like 6 versions ago.
Okay.
But they still gave me a really good price.
Good.
To upgrade it. Yeah.
That's good.
I don't know what the cost is to share it. Like, I feel like Mari Stoke might be able to get Adobe Suite, and then maybe you guys could all use the products. But I really do think you could. I mean, you got Canva, iMovie. I feel like that's all you need for all the things, and you can make anything work, you know.
I'm looking for those simple controls, you know.
That's iMovie.
Like all of us. I think iMovie
all the way.
Especially if you already have a Mac and it's on there and it's free. Yeah.
I used the YouTube tutorials to learn it, you know.
Yep.
And now it's easy. I mean, now I've used it enough.
Well, think about it. I mean, if we use iMovie literally in elementary school for the basics, and I mean, obviously the elementary kids don't just pick it up and start using it. We have to teach them step by step, and it's perhaps not as I'm sure you'll pick it up a lot quicker. But it's not difficult to learn. It's just like Donna says, there's lots of tutorials out there.
Yeah.
You can
Just gotta play with it.
Yeah.
I think the hardest part is
Friday, and you're gonna be like, iMovie.
iMovie.
I know what she did.
Yeah. Well, that's good. I mean, it's just about playing with it. The hardest part is knowing that you have to do something that you've never done before, and then getting over the hump of like just doing it. Because like the longer you think about it, the harder it gets. But it's not actually that hard.
Yeah. The last time I did this, I was like a junior in high school, and I don't remember what program I used. It may have been iMovie. I don't know. We had like an older Mac then, so I don't know if it was a different thing or not. Yeah, but I was like, I could do that. I figured that out, but I couldn't remember.
You're gonna be surprised how.
And the nice thing with iMovie and anything else is you can make it and you can just throw it away if it doesn't work out and start again. I mean,
you can edit.
And you can make movies about anything. I mean, just feel free to make a movie about what a charter school librarian does and send it to me. No, it's seriously, you can practice. I mean, just take any idea, practice it, make it. And then, you know, when it comes to actually, you're in a hurry to get something done for work, you've got those skills.
That's a good idea. Kind of do practice, because I don't know how many videos, dozens of videos from filming. So
I did one, we were in Scotland. So we were touring England and Scotland. So I did a video every week that we were there. We were gone for 5 weeks. And when we were in Scotland, I uploaded some Scottish music. Didn't even think about copyright, which I should have done, but I was on vacation. Put it on my Facebook, and within seconds it was taken down.
Because of the
music was copyrighted.
Oh.
So that was just one interesting, and I should have thought about that. I mean, I'm supposed to be the copyright librarian, but
there's
you're on vacation.
Yeah.
They keep an eye on that, so don't waste all your time and put something up.
Yeah.
There's a app or a website called Ben Sound, which is funny because my dad's a musician also. That has a bunch of royalty-free music, but also iMovie also has royalty-free music in their library. But if there's something that you don't like, that Ben Sound has, like, you could just pick your genre, and you like I want poppy corporate. They literally have poppy corporate music, and it's hard to explain what poppy corporate is, but when you hear it, you're like, yeah, okay, I get it. It's like every like health insurance commercial that you see on TV. It sounds like that. So they have all of that stuff. So if you're ever looking for music, they might have, Scottish or Irish music too.
That was my other thing. I was like, will I put music in it? I just have so many ideas to draw from now. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hadn't heard of Ben Sound. There's another one that I can't remember the name of it offhand. They're also, except there was less music and more sound effects for when kids were making goofy little movies. And I can't remember it right now. I'd have to look it up.
I love a good sound effect.
Ben Sound, so that's a good one.
So Donna, are you still looking into the virtual assistant? Looking to get one?
I am.
Yeah.
Yes, I have not had any replies back from Handshake, and then another person said, oh, you need to go through this other website because of what you're asking for. And so I tried to put a profile on there. So by the time I spent a couple hours, I thought it'd be easier just to go to Fiverr, just find somebody that does what I need.
Do you like Fiverr? Do you feel like you get good results from them?
The only time I've really used them is I found somebody to do my add subtitles to my videos, and for like under 10 minutes videos, it was $5 to add subtitles. And so I thought, I'm using him, and he was much better than I would have been, and it spent me hours to do it, and he did it within 24 hours pretty much.
Nice.
Done. So in Vietnam, he was in Vietnam.
I love it. I love a good, cheap, but quality,
Well, and then for them, it was, good. And he really had, I'm going to actually start contacting him again, because I've got these hour videos that I do for my live coaching, and I go in and take out all of the, empty spaces. And it takes me about an hour really to go through it and sort through an hour's worth. And I was going to say, I need to talk to him. He probably could do it a whole lot faster than I could. And maybe he charges me $10. I don't know, but
but it's worth all that energy.
I'm realizing how much time I spend doing these editing things, and I do all my videos and stuff too. And I've gotten much faster because I can actually do a video, edit it, and post it within a couple of hours. So
Yeah,
good.
I did that with
Somebody else can do
last. Exactly. Somebody else could do that and you can use your energy for what you're good at. But I had an idea. So with StreamYard, you can put your logo up and take logos down and put video, or you could put like tickers at the bottom. And I was like, I need to streamline this process because I edited the video down after our interview and it took me about an hour or so. But I was like, there's got to be a way. So I had an idea that I could put my logo up every time there was a message that I wanted to put in the video so that it would like visually signal to me, okay, I need to edit here. Okay, I need to edit here, edit here. But like maybe, I don't know if that will help me or help any of you if you could do like a sign or something.
Like a marker. Just kind of like
to just like, oh, like I like that. I'm gonna put that in the video, but do it like so nobody can like do a little signal to yourself.
It took me a while to recognize that if I was doing a video, instead of starting over each time, just keep going.
Keep rolling.
And then I just pause and then keep going. And then I can go and edit those out. And oh my gosh, that saved so much time.
Because then you pause and then you start and you have to get your mind back in the game. You have to get your head back in the groove and into the subject that you're, just keep it rolling.
That was before I knew how to edit. And so now, it's like you learn by doing. I'm going to ask you guys a question. So I have seen these, maybe you guys know the answer. I want to do some live videos, and I mean live, encourage people to join my live Facebook, but it's not going to be necessarily Facebook. It's going to be on Zoom. But I've noticed that some of these people are putting Facebook like a still that says they're going to be live on like November the 13th or something.
Right.
How does that work? I mean, how do you key them up so that they can actually then join you? Is that then, because it's on YouTube is when they're saying this.
Do they have StreamYard? Because when I used StreamYard, it posted that for me. So when I scheduled my interview, and I could potentially, if I wanted to, schedule all of my interviews for the rest of the year in StreamYard, and it'll post on YouTube and Facebook and say, here's the link with the image that I put, and just click to watch the live, even though it's in 4 or 5 days or in a month from now.
So this guy is somebody who does a lot of video coaching and has a lot of courses and programs and stuff. And so on YouTube, and so I think maybe he uses Upstream. Maybe there's something called Upstream.
Maybe they schedule it. It's
StreamYard. I don't know.
Yeah, it's probably scheduled in the app.
Okay.
I think I've heard of Upstream before, but when I scheduled it, and I wonder if you can schedule a live in Facebook directly, or if you could schedule a live in YouTube directly.
And you can put an event so you could let people know. I don't use Facebook as much, but YouTube I use. And in fact, that's how a lot of my clients are finding me. I've got a new client from China and another one from Turkey and other ones like that. And then I'm always thrilled because I've not really done a lot of promotion.
Yeah.
It's just been organic, but
you've been doing stuff. You've been putting yourself out there. You've been selling your product through being in your product. And that's kind of what we were talking about before. It's like all of those freebies create clients.
And one of the things I do is I set up a meetup group. And so I have we do meet twice a month on Zoom, and I've got people from Indonesia and China, all kinds of people that have joined that, and that's free. It's just a conversation hour for non-native English speakers. And then I also have a free coaching hour the first Monday of the month. And so that goes out to the people who have taken my courses, but also I set up an Eventbrite on the same night as an event. So again, it's a way of getting visibility.
That's marketing.
It's a free giveaway, right? It's a free giveaway,
marketing.
But it's marketing and visibility. I mean, that's how I have to find more clients because I can't go out and network in the normal way as now. So, but it's been fun because it keeps me engaged.
Yeah, and you're honing your craft. You're getting new skills. You have work examples to show your new clients. Look at this video and this video and that video, and you can kind of sell yourself. I love that. I know it's a little harder for photography. Maria, I'm thinking of you. When I first moved here, I didn't have a client base, and I connected with a salon. And so they do hair and makeup. And I was like, do you guys need a resident photographer? and we created a deal, and it was like anytime you bought the bundle, it included hair, makeup, and a photo session. So it's just a fun way to, because then they're all marketing for me, and I get their clients and they get my clients. So my client says, I need a photo, or I need a headshot or pictures.
That's great.
I'm like, do you need hair and makeup? It's cheap, it's in a bundle, you get it all, and here's what you get. And we just, you know, and then
So
they
you
get this
offered
full
this.
package.
You went to them and offered them this package and came up with this idea that not only helps market them, but market you.
Mm-hmm.
That's great. People like that when you can make it easy for them, for a company to do that, to go in and you introduce yourself and talk to it. So Marie, that's cool.
And it was working, and we were getting like senior photos, and we got, you know, some things like that. But then we got a real estate agent, and she took the package, and then next thing you know, we got an entire real estate office. So she bought the office headshots, everybody got hair and makeup, everybody got a photo session. We bundled it a little bit cheaper for the group, but it was easy, you know, it's once you get into the real estate, then they all tell everybody, and they all want a piece of that. But it was nice to kind of, you know, do those packages. And if I was in Texas longer, we were going to do another promotional opportunity for senior photos specifically, and we were going to put the ad in like their school paper. It's like hair, makeup, photos, and kind of put it all together. But I'm leaving, so
Marie, I think your sound is off. I see you moving your mouth, but
I don't think she has her audio hooked up. No, Marie, we can't hear you. You may have to log off. Oh,
there we go.
No.
Oh. For a second, we could hear you for a second.
So you can't hear me now?
No, we got it. It's just very quiet.
Louder.
I have no idea what's going on, you guys.
I can hear you now.
Computer.
I can hear it now.
So, okay. That's so interesting that you would say about the real estate. I had a meeting with somebody last night, and a real estate person got involved in the conversation, and she was like, you've got to you've got to hook up with real estate people. That is the ticket. So it's serendipitous that you would mention that. That's very cool. I love looking at senior photography, though. I am not a senior photographer. That is not who I am, but I love looking at, there's some brilliant senior photography out there, just not me.
Yeah, it's a fun one because I like it. I prefer that to the real estate because it just, I don't know. When I do photography, I'm like, for me, it's a confidence building experience also. So I get these young, 17, 18, even sometimes 16-year-old girls, and I'm like, they're like, cover my fat, cover this. And I'm like, we're going to break that down in this 1 hour. We're going to just do that. So for me, that's a lot of fun. And I get the joy out of that experience because for me, photography is about connecting with people and like falling in love with people. It's not really the photography part. It's a way for me to do it so it's not weird. But, I love doing that part. So when I see senior when somebody's like, senior photos or real estate, I'm like, senior photos, please.
It is such a cool population too, right? They're just, I love these kids of today. I'm in love with that entire generation. I think they got great stuff going on. But yeah, I'm gonna leave the photography up to you people. The rest of you guys who have a good beat on that, and I'll stick to headshots. But yeah, it's a neat part of the field for sure.
Oh yeah, it's becoming like wedding photography. It's becoming so extravagant. Everything's so extravagant. And I think that the senior photos might be a harder niche than headshots because they want their headshots. They want their senior photos in their cap and gown. They want their Instagram photos. They want to be better than the Instagram that Susie so-and-so has. They want it all. They want it to be, viral worthy. So it's like, for me, it makes me have to like step it up. I'm like, okay, I gotta do a good job for the 17-year-old. Otherwise they're gonna like shoot my head off on social media. But it's fun. We have a good time.
Yeah.
Awesome. Very cool. This has been super, like, I feel like so many goodies. So
I
many.
know.
goodies.
I have
so
to
many
thank
stickies.
Mari. Mari, I have to
Yes.
thank you for having Pat Smith on a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
Pat Smith with Denton.
Serve Denton.
Serve Denton. And he gave me the name for Cynthia with Safran. And
Right.
she passed my name on. I contacted her and passed my name on to Madeline, which is their French person. And so I've already had a talk with her and possibly have a chance to introduce, well, she's going to take the course, I think, and then she's in there learning and development. And, you know, they have 80,000 employees around the world.
Oh.
So, yeah, no, Safran.
That's a lot.
It's a French company. So, but I'm just thinking about, you know, this virtual networking. It's interesting because if you follow up with some of these things and go ahead and, you know, if they're, and pretty much they're receptive, because I used his name to LinkedIn with her and called and stuff. And so I just want to thank you for the opportunity for the people that you have on.
Yeah,
Because
I'm glad to hear that.
It's all this bit of networking thing. So
And it's also props to you guys for following up and engaging with the mentors and asking the questions and getting those connections and following up on it. So I hear you with the opportunity being presented, but you need to give yourself some credit too. Because it wouldn't have happened unless you followed up, you know?
True.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's one of the things I keep trying to encourage. I work a lot with people that have lost their jobs or that are trying to go through the interview process right now. And I have a course that I created because of that called English for Interviews. And I'm trying to encourage them to network. And a lot of my non-native speakers that are not from America, with even the meetup group, this next time our topic is tell me about yourself. What makes you you? Because most of them don't know how to talk about themselves. And so part of this is to just let them know that America has a different culture, and we really, you know, are the small talk and the getting to know each other is part of our natural thing, whereas most of those come from cultures that are very closely family related or relationship related. And if they don't know you, they don't necessarily patronize, you know, they don't necessarily step out of that comfort zone. But in America, we're all independent, kind of. We just
that's always a question in interviews. So tell me about yourself. That's like the first question. Yeah.
Exactly
The book
right.
that I recommended actually has a whole chapter on how to develop your story for an interview.
Okay, I'll have to read
Well
that.
worth reading. Yeah,
I'll
it's
tell
well
that.
worth reading.
I have to suggest a book too. It's called Winging It. And her name is, I want to say it's Emma Isaacs. Please don't quote me on that. But that book is all about, she's an entrepreneur and she just kind of was winging the whole thing, but she talks about how to network in a way that's going to create profitability and how to like build a community and how to get your, you know, it's story driven, but it's also very advice driven. And I'm like in love with it. It's amazing. Amazing. Winging it.
I like to, you know, pass the word on to them and encourage them to start speaking out and, you know, just get comfortable with it. Cause that's part of the reason of doing the meetup group is that I knew they were isolated, staying at home and not having a chance to speak English. So what better way to do that? And I've got about 200 people in the group now.
Nice. That's
So,
awesome.
A lot, yeah.
That's
Well,
so
that's all
great.
worth paying off.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, I mean, maybe only out of the 12 that register, maybe only 8 of them or 6 of them show up.
Sure.
Okay. I mean, it gives me an opportunity to meet people and talk with them and stuff. So I've enjoyed it. I'm enjoying it.
And the 6 becomes one client and then, you know, it grows and builds and gets better every time, you know?
I was going to say, you're right, Amanda, it is Emma Isaacs.
It is. Okay. Yeah. She's awesome.
I actually just put a link up to it.
Yeah.
Going directly to it. Yeah.
Emma Isaacs?
Yeah, I'll definitely take a look at that.
It looks
Book by Emma Isaacs. Yeah, I'm loving that one right now. She's got a whole financial section and how to like talk to your, like how to get over like money issues and things like that.
Money is super hard. People don't always realize when you say, this is how much I charge, they look at you and you're like, that's a lot of money. And they don't realize that that's not what I'm making. That's what I'm charging. But that's going for CPAs, legal, you know, you have to have your contracts.
That's where I'm at, you know, it's like I do a lot of stuff, but most of it's for trade. volunteer or for free. And so I just need to get over that hump, which Donna and I were talking about, is like taking it from like a creative activity to a business.
Right.
And I
and
know
that's one of the most difficult things.
Mm-hmm.
But it sounds like you have a lot of talents that are all going on at the same time. And I like the concept of trading. I mean, sometimes not that, I mean, you can trade stuff as a librarian. It's not as much, it's not as good as being a photographer or, I mean, I find I love to knit, and a lot of people ask for my sweaters. And I'm like, are you kidding? It took 200 hours.
Wow. That's a huge feat. Yeah.
Jan, you could start a YouTube or a Facebook group, and you could teach them how to knit.
How to knit. Mm-hmm. You know, I have thought about that. It was always popular at school. I taught knitting and sewing in the library. So we had at one point we were doing a community scarf where everybody that came in would just knit 1 or 2 lines, and they were supposed to get donated to the homeless. But the boys coming in and pulling the needles out and having sword fights. I mean, I could put the stitches back on, but the needle poking was getting to be a problem. I did that in one school. It worked great. I mean, we ended up with 10 or 12 scarves at the end of the winter, and we took them down to the homeless soup kitchen, and we took the kids with us. It was interesting. Yeah.
I see a lot.
There's a lot of Facebook groups, you know, and she does these different art groups. And some of these people have, you know, several hundred people in this group that then post what they've done. And some of them they charge a nominal amount, but then most of them are free. That she's got.
Most of the knitting stuff that's out there is free. There's an awful lot of.
Well, but it creates a community. You're creating a sense of community. So
yeah, like you could do your niche. You know, it could be like librarians that knit. You know, it could be like in that like little
Instagram called librarians that knit.
Really?
Yeah, it really is.
So just flip it around, knitting librarians.
Yeah, something like that.
Start
there's all sorts of librarian groups that go on, but yeah, there is one actually called librarians that knit.
It's definitely becoming a huge, like it's coming back again because everybody's virtual, and like my sister-in-law, she's doing all her classes virtually, so she's just knitting while she's on her Zoom calls, and she made my niece like an awesome dragon Halloween costume, you know, but she just started learning, so it seems like a lot of people that are at home, you know, they're like this. So from the hands down, they're, you know, going away. Yeah, exactly. Well, she said she likes to fidget. So it's productive fidgeting. There you go.
Right there. I wasn't working on it, but it is right there by my computer. Sometimes I'm listening, but I'm not actively participating.
Well, let's see it. Now that you've said something, I need to see it.
Hold it up again. Hold it up again.
Oh, wow.
Oh, pattern.
It's actually cable, so it's all plaited. It's all like more interwoven.
Oh, very cool. That's lovely.
So where I come from, that is like the northeast of England and Scotland. Every family has their own combination of cable patterns. And the real origin of it is that if you were on the boats, so I come from a mining and a trolling community. So if you went out on the boats and you went overboard and you were out there for a couple of days, you might be unrecognizable, but they could tell from your sweater who you were.
Nice. That is very cool.
A very, very practical way of
identification.
So I have both my family. I have a pattern for me, and then I designed a pattern for my son, and I just actually started making my granddaughter's very first Aran sweater.
Wow. You could sell those patterns too. I see a lot of people doing that.
No, I have actually thought about that. At one point I was asked, I did a lot of translating for patent companies from German to English because I lived in Germany for a long time. And that's a very specific niche of vocabulary. Even if you learn German, you may not know knitting vocabulary.
Sure.
And I have been asked, and I have thought about it. The problem with designing is you've got to knit it up in 5 or 6 different sizes to make sure that it's actually working correctly. And a lot of people do that by paying other knitters to knit them, but then I feel guilty. I knitted for a store at one point, and I was making about $2 an hour. It was fun. My son had just been born. It was something different to do. Somebody paid for the yarn, and it was really good quality yarn. It was for a guy called K Facets.
Oh, yeah, of course.
So loved doing it, but made no money at it. And I would feel guilty asking somebody else to do that without paying them a fair price. And if you pay a fair price for hand knitting,
it's going to be a pretty penny.
It's been delightful meeting all of you. I'm going to have to
I
was just about to.
Thanks, Amanda. Good seeing you. You know, Ben, nice to meet
everybody.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah.
Jan, good to see you again. Bye. See you next time.
I'll be there next week. I don't know what's going on next week, but I'm sure I'm signed up for it.
See you guys.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Nice
Bye.
to all.
Okay. See you, Amanda.
Thanks.
Bye.